Hi everybody, it's Jama Malmy. Welcome back to another card making tutorial. This is another card for Craft Roulette. I am just having so much fun with these challenges because you get parameters using products that you may not have ever thought to put together. So it was fun how this card came together, and the parameters were to do a 6x6 card, and you got to choose one of two sketches that Mary provided, to use a car or truck, to use an envelope, and to use cool colors. So I really like how this turned out, and this is the only car stamp I had in my whole collection, and it happens to be one I've never even used. So that was super fun to pull that out and use it, and I happen to need a wedding card coming up in October. So now I feel super on top of it that I have it done, and this was really fun to make. So it's fun that the little stamp fits right on the sign on the back of the card, and I stamped it first in Glacier to give it a little background, but it didn't stand out enough, so then I stamped black on top of it so that it would pop more, but it still has a little of the blue sort of peeking out from behind. It's really hard to tell on the video, but it looks really good in real life. And then I'm using watercolor pencils, and this is giving the card just a little bit of color. And I love how these color on a little bit stiffer than a regular colored pencil, but then the magic happens when you add the water, and so you'll see me add the water brush in. I'm not sure how much you can tell. I do slow it down again when I add the water brush, but it just is magic when that watercolor just spreads out and it looks so pretty. I did it real pale so you can't see it a ton, but here we go with the water. It just smooths that all out, and it is so fun to do. It's like magic. You could go back and add more color and make it darker, but I just went for a real subtle effect. I just wanted a real light blue car. So I stamped it again because I'm going to cut one out and I'm going to leave one on the card base, because I didn't want to cut out those little cans, because of course those strings are going to be hard to cut out. So I'm going to leave those on the base, and I'm also going to leave these little side mirrors on the base. And then you'll see me cut out just the car itself, and I'm going to be popping that up on foam squares. And then that's also going to give me an opportunity to add my envelope to the card. So here's where I'm loosely interpreting envelope. I cut this little sign on the back of the card out so that it lifts up like a little window. And so I cut just with a craft knife freehand on this magic mat, which is a self-healing mat for my die cutting machine. And then I'm going to also end up using my little scoring tool here to add a little bit of a score line there, just so that I don't get the fold all wonky, and lift that up so it doesn't look like much now, but remember we're going to have that other car underneath it. So this top one that I cut the flap, that's the one we're going to cut out. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of it here to show you that I'm actually cutting off this side mirror, so you don't have to get super detailed with the cutting. So yeah, it's fussy cutting, but it's really not too bad. And then I went right up to the black line on the stamp. And so a little tip here that I learned from Christina Werner is to use a black marker along the side, because that hides any imperfections that you kind of messed up when you were cutting, because of course we're not going to cut it as perfect as a die cut, and especially when you cut it right up against that stamped line, sometimes you can tell when it's not perfect. So that helps a lot. So now I'm going to put this together. I'm using some retired paper. This is Stitched Together from Close to My Heart, and so I liked the blue color. Kind of thought it was sort of like a sky, driving into the sky, for my cool color. And then the XOXO paper, of course, is perfect because this is a wedding card, and it is from the Picture Perfect collection. And so I was trying to find what color I want to mat this on. I thought that peach was a little light and the smoothie was a little dark, and then I realized I had the light side of the peach showing. So this true color of the peach ended up being perfect, because close to my heart's cardstock is two-sided. There's a real color on one side and then a lighter shade of the same color on the back. So the true shade of peach was just perfect for this. So I'm going to cut that out. I just wanted a little bit of a matte around that car. And then I'm following one of the sketches that came from Mary, which I'm really glad that she provided a sketch for a 6x6 card, because that's a lot of real estate to cover. It's like scrapbooking, and I like using a sketch for scrapbooking to have sort of a design in place. So here I'm putting the car, the second car, on top of the first one on the foam squares, and it's super fun. Now you can lift it up and see "Time to Party Inside," which is just a perfect message for this couple that it's going to. I added some ink blending around the sides. I thought it needed a little bit of depth, and then since there is so much space on this card, I also added a little bit of splatters. I love my black shimmer brush splatters, and this added a really nice touch and of course covered up some of that extra space that I had. And then I'm going to start putting it all together. So if you have not heard of Craft Roulette, I want to tell you a little bit more about this. And also, this video is posting on Sunday, but you have until midnight Central Time to actually submit your cards. So if you can get something together tonight to post, you can submit your card using these same parameters to craftroulette.live. And you will be featured on next week's show. But this is a show that is a live show every Friday night on YouTube. And it's at 6:30 Central. And it's on youtube.com/craftroulette. And Mary is the host. And there's always a guest crafter. And I learned about it because she asked me to be a guest crafter. I was actually the very first guest she had on the show, so that was really fun. But I've been on a few times, and every time it's so fun. It's definitely a lot more nerve-wracking when you're creating live on the show. But there are always guest crafters, lots of different styles and faces, and it's just really fun to watch. So if you can join on Friday nights, I highly suggest you do, because it's a fun way to spend your Friday night, or you can catch the replay on YouTube as well. So hope you'll check it out, and I've linked the channel and some more info down in the description below if you want to hop on over there. All right, so I am just going to finish putting this all together. Again, following that sketch. So I've got it all in place, and I thought that I would just be adding a few rhinestones scattered around. But once I got those few rhinestones down, I realized, wow, there's still so much empty space to fill. It really is like doing a scrapbook layout, and I would probably add some layered clusters, and so I decided to do that on this card layout. I pulled a couple of stickers. I ended up putting one inside, and then I used these champagne glasses to stamp on the inside as well with that. And then on the outside, I pulled out some of these wooden hearts, which were a super fun little embellishment to add. They're such a great little embellishment to add on anything. Of course, it's perfect for a wedding, for the hearts. But they really are a great filler for any time you need some extra color, or they add a lot of texture, and you can also color them to match your project. So you can color them with alcohol markers, or with the shimmer brush works perfectly, and then it adds some shimmer too. You can color them with stickles, and that's a super fun look. I decided just to leave them plain. I liked the color and sort of natural look that it added to this card, but you certainly can color them. And then I added some more rhinestones, and I clustered them all closer together. The rhinestones I had down, I moved so that they all be closer together. The just regular tacky glue, or I use the Tombow tacky glue, but you can use any tacky glue I find works well for the wood hearts, or a liquid glass or something like that. I did a little bit of shimmer brush to finish it off, and that finishes my card. So I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any questions, let me know, and be sure to check out the description below where I've linked the supplies that are still available, as well as more info about Craft Roulette. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you again on Thursday. Have a wonderful day.